Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday. We are ready to start a new unit. Are you ready? All right, we are going to start at the beginning because it's a very fun place to start. When you read, you begin with A, B, C, and when you sing, you begin with, that was for Pastor Jim, Do, Re, Mi. But in the Bible lessons, we're going to start at the very beginning. And what is the first book in the Bible? What is it? Genesis. You are right. So just like the big people, we are going to start with Genesis. All right. So we start at the beginning. And what was at the beginning? What was there? Just God, right? And so what do we know about God? We know he's great, right? We know he can do anything. We also know he can be everywhere. And we know that he loves us so very much. All right? He knows what's going to happen. He knew before the earth was created, and he knows what's going to happen after it all passes away because he is God. Now, there's some really cool things about that, right? Here's the one I love the most. God could have done anything, and he chose to make you and me and your moms and dads and friends and family. He chose to create our world and put us in it. Can you believe it? He sure did. All right, now he could have done anything. So he could have said, I'm just going to make the heavens and angels. I'm going to make angels that are just going to sit around me and praise. He could have done that. Or maybe he would be like, I'm going to make robots that can only do exactly what I programmed them to do. But did he do that? Robots are fun, but that's not what he did, is it? He chose to make us. Humans with minds and thoughts who make choices. Are you guys making good choices? Yeah? To make choices and also who could love. So he's going to love. We're going to love. All right? So how did he do it? Now, let's think about Nashville a little bit. There's a lot of building going on in Nashville. You might hear some right outside our door. All right? So at Nashville, there's giant cranes. Has anybody ever driven around the city and looked at how many cranes are building buildings? Did God use a big crane? Did he even use a hammer or nails? No. You want to hear how he did it? All he had to do was speak. All he had to do was speak the words, and the whole world came into being. All right, so let's go over it. Now, the creation that we have behind us, we started this out, and probably the TVC kids who are watching this, you probably don't remember making this, because the kids who made this are probably in late middle school, maybe early high school now. But here's how we did it. We put paper all over tables, all over the whole kids' room, and each table painted a different color from the rainbow. So there was one painting all different kinds of yellows, and one painting all different kinds of oranges, and one doing reds, and one doing greens and blue and indigo and violet. And then we cut up all the pieces, and we made our creation. That's not what God did, was it? He spoke. And so in the beginning was the heavens and the earth, and he spoke. And he said, let there be light. And when there was light, he made day and night, which is awesome because we don't have to be afraid of the night, do we? Because we know that God holds the day and the night in his hands. All right. After that, he said, I'm going to make it an expanse. And he made the sky. Think of this whole blue wall as the sky. And think about those first clouds. Maybe they were big and puffy. Maybe they made shapes. Do you think they made shapes? Wonder what they were. Yep. So big, puffy clouds. So he made the earth and the sky. And then he said, let me make land and sea. Look at the cool waves you guys made. I love these little waves. And plants. Oh, I think about the plants being, what were the first plants that God created? What do you think they were? I would love to know what the first flower was. Wouldn't you? It would be so fun. So I just thought about those first beaches with the beautiful waves and those first beautiful flowers. And then he said, those things have to grow, so I need to make a sun. And then for night, a moon and stars to fill up that whole sky. Wouldn't that be beautiful to make all those stars and just look up at the heavens and see those beautiful stars? I hope you go online and see some pretty star pictures. All right. Then after that, he said, we've got water, we've got land. Let's make some fish. for the water. He created things like giant whales and teeny tiny little minnows, giant dolphins and sharks, and teeny tiny little fish. All right? And then birds. I love to watch the birds, and I love to hear the birds sing. Do you think they're praising God when they're singing? I bet they are, as they came. And then finally, he got down and he said, let's put some animals. Now, think about that lion's roar and those cute little monkeys swinging from tree to tree to tree. But then he said, in addition, I'm going to make man, right? That's man and woman. That's you and me. And he chose to create us. Now, tomorrow on our daily devotion, we're going to go into this a little bit, but it talks about, could you imagine what it took to make us? And our devotion we're going to talk about tomorrow talks about like cells. Have you guys ever created a cell in science class yet? When my kids were little, we made cells out of candy. It's super fun. You have like the mitochondria and the Golgi body and the cytoplasm and all these different parts of one cell that goes inside our body. We have millions and millions and millions of different working pieces. This was not an accident. This was God. When God created us, he made us so complex, but also to be able to work all together. Our body works all together to let us run, to let us breathe, to let us think, to let us smile. All those things. God had that all planned when he created us. And most of all, for us to think and have our own mind and heart about things, to make choices, right? He created us this way so that we can love and worship him. So I hope you guys will think about that devotion tomorrow when we read it. Think about how God made our bodies. And then finally, on the seventh day, he said to rest. Very important. Why is it important to rest? Why is it important to clear our minds? You know why? Because that's when we get back in touch with God. He also made our bodies so that when we sleep and rest, our bodies heal. All right? God knew what he was doing. It may have seemed easy for him just to speak out those words, but because he's God, all these things went together. All right? Pretty cool? I love this. You know what? I could spend a week or two or three on each one of these little teeny tiny parts of creation. But I love the more we learn about Earth, the more we learn about science, the more we see how amazingly wonderful God is. I hope when you look at creation, you are amazed. I hope that you are thankful. Are you guys thankful? Me too. All right, so we're starting our creation books. So if you guys live in Nashville, you got one of these. We send them to Franklin and Brentwood and Hendersonville and Spring Hill, Mount Juliet, where else? All around. To my guys who live in Florida, to my sweet girls who live in Ireland. We sent them all out. So if you didn't get one, just let me know and we will get one to you if you're somebody who follows us every week. But this is called my Genesis Journal. And inside, you're going to see a little note for me. And then we start out creation. This is how we acted out, which we're going to do in 1 minute. And then you've got all your questions. You guys, you could go back and look at this. And it'll help you. This video will help you go through that. But then it says, God created me. And then you have page after page after page of what part of God's creation that was red that you love. Color that. So there's a lot of illustrations to do in this. So we went through the colors of the rainbow, pick out something. Now, when we built this room many, many years ago, I had the TVC kids paint some pictures of things that were their favorite parts of creation that were each color. So I love going into the green room and there's a picture with all this green everywhere. I'm like, ask the little guy, what was this? It was guacamole. So his favorite green thing was guacamole. And then in the red room, one of my very favorite paintings, it's lots of red and orangey colors going up. It's like, what is that? It's a tiger hiding behind hot lava. So whatever part of creation is your favorite, you're going to color it on these pages. Now, you might also notice that the cover is white. Does Miss Jamie use white very often? Not so much. So this is white because I want you guys to start coloring this, all right? I want you to start illustrating it with creation, And then as we go through, we're going to go through the best stories in the book of Genesis, all right? They're some of the most awesome stories in the whole Bible. So I hope you guys will go through and start coloring this. And in the end, I want to see some pictures of what you guys have created and what you've done on this Genesis journal. So I hope this will be your beautiful creation. Just like God created our beautiful world, I want this to be your beautiful illustration of creation. All right? Can you guys do that? I know you can. All right, so it's going to be fun. We're going to do these. We're going to do the decorations on this. And then I just wanted to tell you a couple of things before we finished up. You know, on Thursdays, we do this thing called Thankful Thursday. And I was looking at this, being in my room again, and I thought, I want this chain to be as long as it can be to cover the whole ceiling of our room. All those you guys who have been here, you know we cover our ceiling with praise, right? And so on Thankful Thursdays, what you guys do is you send me in things that you're thankful for, and we add them to this chain, and then I talk about them on Thursdays. So I hope you guys will send some. Creation is such an easy way to be thankful, right? So maybe as you color your thing that you love that's red in creation, maybe send me a little note and tell me you're thankful for something that's red or orange or green or blue or indigo or violet. Right? All right, so add that to your little list of things to do and check in. Even if you don't send it in, check in and hear what your friends are doing. I love this little opportunity for us as a TVC Kids body and community to be able to talk to each other. So that's one way of doing it. Send me in those for Thankful Thursday. But before we go, we want to act out our creation. Are you ready? Here's how you're going to remember it. Do it with me. If you've been in my class and you know it, do it with me. If not, you're going to learn it and you can rewind to learn about it. So in the beginning, there was nothing, all right? So we're down here. And then God said, let there be light, and jump up and light. And then he made the sky, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then he made the land, the sea, and the plants. What kind of flower are you growing? All right? And then he made the sun, the moon, and the stars. And then he said it was good. And he made the fish and the birds, and then the animals, roar, be your favorite animal, and then man, and then he rested. So use those hand motions, go through creation, see what you can remember, see what you see that God has created for you. Know that this is all because he loves you so very much. And I love knowing that when I'm taking the step out into the world, when I'm thinking about each one of my days, that I know that the God who holds the whole world in his hand is holding tight to me. He made creation and he said, this is good. It is good. And he is good and he loves you and he loves me. I'll see you guys this week, all right? Bye.